All right, let's jump right in. We all tend to think the sales team is the engine of a company, right? But what if I told you the real control room, the actual command center, is somewhere else entirely? We're talking about the finance department, and we're going to explore how it's evolving from a back-office bookkeeper into a real strategic powerhouse.
Just let that sink in for a second. Every single decision, every risk, every opportunity, it all eventually has to be translated into numbers. Your accounts department is literally the heart of the business, pumping that financial lifeblood through every part of the operation and checking its vitals.
And that really is the million-dollar question. Is your finance team just passively noting down what happened last month? Or are they actively steering the ship toward what's going to happen next year? The difference is absolutely massive, and it all boils down to the tools they have at their disposal.
So let's tackle this first big idea, forecasting. I mean, every company with big plans wants to play out different strategies. But how on earth do you do that without making a complete and utter mess of your official financial records? This is a huge roadblock. You can't just start creating a bunch of what-if invoices and fake expense reports in your live accounting system. I mean, can you imagine the nightmare that would be for audits? It would cause total confusion. You need a sandbox, a safe place to build and test things out.
And that's where this beautiful solution comes in, scenario management. It lets you build out complete financial models for all kinds of possible futures. What if we launch this new product line? What if we open a new office overseas? You can model all of it without a single one of those test entries ever touching your real books.
And this is where you can really see the magic. You can put your current reality right next to a potential future. You see exactly how that new strategy might affect your bottom line, side by side, before you even think about committing a single dollar. That's not just bookkeeping. That is some serious strategic foresight.
Okay, so let's move on to the next key piece of the puzzle. A finance team that's busy planning the future can't be getting bogged down in the tedious work of the past. And let's be honest, so much of traditional accounting is just that, repetitive, manual grunt work.
Oh man, if you've ever been anywhere near an accounting department, you know this pain. It's that soul-crushing task of matching every single transaction from a bank statement to an entry in the company books. It takes forever, it's boring, and it's exactly where mistakes love to hide. It is, without a doubt, the #1 headache.
But just look at how automation flips this whole thing on its head. It turns into this super simple 3-step dance. You just upload your bank statement, the system does all the heavy lifting, matching everything in seconds, and your team just has to give it a final look and approve. What used to take days now literally takes minutes.
And the result is just, it's staggering. A 90% drop in the time spent on reconciliation. But listen, this isn't just about saving time. This is about reallocating your most valuable asset, your team's brainpower. Instead of mindlessly ticking and tying the past, they are now free to analyze what's actually happening, model growth, and help build the company's future.
All right, part 3. So, you're forecasting the future, you've automated the past, now you need a crystal clear, high-definition picture of the present. You've got to know exactly where your money is being made.
This gets really tricky really fast. A big company isn't one giant profit machine. It's more like a collection of lots of little ones. Different projects, different branches, different departments. And a positive overall profit number can easily hide some very serious problems. You could have one failing project that's secretly draining all the resources from 2 successful ones.
The tool for this kind of insight is called cost centers. It's basically a way of tagging every single dollar of expense and revenue to a specific part of your business. It gives you this incredible surgical level view of your financial performance.
And what you get is a picture that looks something like this. Instantly, you're no longer guessing. You know. You can see that Project A and Branch X are your superstars, but hey, Project B is actually losing you money. Armed with that data, you can make incredibly smart decisions. Pour fuel on what's working and fix or cut what isn't. Now that is true financial control.
Okay, so let's bring it all home. When you combine that future forecasting ability with smart automation and that super granular visibility, you get a fundamental shift. The very role of the finance team begins to change.
This is the old world. Accounting as a history book. It's important for sure, but it is fundamentally reactive. It tells you where you've been.
And this is the new world. Finance as a dynamic launchpad for building the future. It's proactive. It uses the data from the past to actively model and create a much more profitable tomorrow.
So the real point here is this: we're shifting away from just making entries in a ledger. We're moving toward commanding a complete financial control platform that gives you total oversight, from the highest level strategy all the way down to a single transaction.
And that's really the question I want to leave you with. Think about your own company. Is your finance team buried in the past, manually checking boxes and recording history? Or are they empowered with the tools they need to look forward, to strategize, and to actually build the future of your business? The answer to that question could define everything.